Hi, Kevin from Bowser Builds here. Today, we're going to replace these old dirty switches and get our horn working. Let's go. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I'm replacing both my blinker selector and horn switch and my windshield wiper switch. As you can see, these ones have seen better days. They are fairly old, rusted out from having no top, rainwater. Connectors weren't too bad. It's just overall going to replace them for better ones. Now this side, however, the horn was stuck. The switch in the middle was actually sticking. Bottom fuse. But when it's making contact, it causes the horn to go off. So we're going to take a look into that today. And I will tell you right now, I had no idea that the horn was controlled by the blinker switch. I'm sure people watching this, if you're familiar with MGs, you probably already knew that. I did not. I figured that the center cap, where most horns are in the center, you'd hit and it would activate it. It did not. So on this 1970, this is your horn selector. Left and right blinker as well. So we're going to get to tearing this apart, and while we're at it, we're also going to recondition our steering wheel. So as I showed you already, the horn is sticking on, so I get no plate out of this button here. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing this so we can get to the electrical. Inside of the dash, I have new switches for both sides. Oh, they're used, but they're better than the condition these are in. So in order to get these off, we have to actually remove this cap first, which just peels off. I've already removed it, so I'm just going back through to show. Each one of these has a little tab that you bend down, and once they're bent down, allows you to get to this 1/2 inch bolt here. This large one here is 1 1/16 inches. And once you have that loose, you can unscrew that. And once we get all these out, we're able to use a puller and actually pull the hub assembly off of that. Alright, so we got it off. Problem I was running into, these little pieces here go inside the plastic on this side, and the screws which come out from this side were essentially seized in there. So I had to kind of drill it apart from the inside from the opposite side, and I'll have to repair it later. But I didn't damage any of the casing, so it'll go back in perfectly fine after we clean it up. Okay, so next we're going to replace the two switches. We got a screw here, and one on the bottom side, right there. And once those are off, your windshield wiper switch comes off. And once those are off, underneath, connected to this bracket, is the screws for your blinker switch. And once you get those both off, the wiring itself runs down this harness, these two harnesses here, into right here where they both plug in. So we'll go ahead and get those off next. Still trying to figure out how the horn was hooked up and working. But we'll get there. Okay, with these two switches replaced, now it's time to put everything back together. Now I did go through and clean up all of the pieces, including the center horn button. So now we're going to get it all thrown back together. This is after we have everything put back together. We've reconditioned the steering wheel, cleaned up all this, polished it up. I redid all of the center with some spray paint. Actually reconditioned the MG logo, cleaned it out, basically scraped it down and replaced all the red paint. Aside from this little spot here, it actually came out fairly decent. Then repainted everything there, put it all together. I oiled the steering wheel wrap itself several times to get at least some life back into it. And it's better than it was. It still needs some love, but it's better. This whole shroud here, basically reconditioned and painted as well. Now another thing I didn't know until doing some research, this little selector switch here, actually is for the dash lights and brightening them up. And then you have your horn and blinker. On this side there's your windshield washer. So that's it all completed up. I wanted to take a minute to say thank you to everyone that has followed my channel this far. I know there's a lot of work still to do on this thing, but I have a couple more projects coming up. Just picked up a new workshop truck that we'll start doing some work on, along with some other small things here and there on other vehicles. So if you're really liking what we're doing here, please subscribe, hit the notification there. And again, thank you. Have a happy holidays and stay safe out there.